let's jump right in. There's a massive health crisis that one expert, Dr. Ken Berry, says is affecting more than half of us, and we don't even have a clue. It's a silent epidemic, doing some pretty serious damage behind the scenes, and you probably don't feel a single thing. So, you've got to ask yourself, could this be you? See, the most insidious thing about fatty liver disease is that its #1 symptom is, well, having no symptoms at all. You can be walking around feeling totally fine while your liver is already in deep trouble. And the scale of this is it's staggering. According to Dr. Berry, when radiologists look at abdominal scans of adults, a whopping 70 to 80% show signs of a fatty liver. It's gotten so incredibly common that he says they often don't even bother mentioning it in their reports anymore. Think about that. So, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll look at why it's such a silent, common danger. Then we'll get into the really surprising signs to watch for, what really causes it, and, best of all, the simple way you can start to heal. Okay, first step, let's really get a handle on this silent danger. This thing used to be pretty rare, Now it's a full-blown hidden epidemic. So how on earth are you supposed to spot a problem that doesn't have any direct symptoms? Well, you have to become a bit of a detective and look for these surprising indirect clues, these little red flags that you wouldn't normally connect to your liver at all. And some of these signs are, wow, they're pretty unexpected. Dr. Berry is incredibly clear on this one. If a man develops man boobs, and we're not talking about a hormone issue, but actual fat deposits, he says it's almost a guarantee that you've got a fatty liver. Other weird things, like spider manes popping up, swollen legs, even struggling to see at night, they can all be your body's way of telling you the liver is struggling. Now, the real villain at the heart of all this is a specific kind of fat called visceral fat. This isn't the stuff you can pinch on your belly. No, this is the really dangerous internal fat that literally wraps itself around your vital organs. When it builds up in your liver, that's fatty liver disease. And when it builds up around your pancreas, that's a fatty pancreas. And that's an even more dangerous situation. So here's where all the dots connect. Fatty liver is tied directly to all these other conditions. If you've got high blood pressure, if you've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or even pre-diabetes, if you have insulin resistance, Dr. Berry's advice is simple. You should just assume you have fatty liver disease and get yourself checked out. Okay, this brings us to maybe the most important part of this whole story. What's actually causing this? Because I guarantee what most people think is the cause is completely wrong. It's time to pull back the curtain on the real culprit here. The biggest myth out there is that eating fat makes you and your liver fat. I mean, it sounds logical, right? But biologically, it's just plain false. The reality is your liver gets fat when it is absolutely overwhelmed by too many carbohydrates and sugars. Your body just doesn't know what to do with all the excess, so its only option is to store it as fat, right there in your liver. And please, don't be fooled by so-called healthy sugars. As Dr. Berry points out, some fruit juices have more sugar, specifically fructose, than a can of Coke. Fructose is especially brutal on your liver, so giving your kid a big glass of apple juice can be just as damaging, if not worse, than handing them a can of soda. The process itself is pretty straightforward. When you eat way more carbs and sugar than your body can possibly use for immediate energy, your liver has to deal with the overflow. It takes that extra sugar and, through a process with a fancy name, turns it directly into fat. This new fat builds up, creates these unhealthy fatty streaks, and starts messing up how your liver works. All right, enough of the scary stuff. Let's talk about the good news. And it is really good news. Your liver has this incredible, almost superhero-like ability to regenerate. You can reverse the damage. And the solution isn't about some magic pill. It's about removing the things that were causing the damage to begin with. First, let's be crystal clear about what doesn't work. Dr. Berry warns that things like juice cleanses are a disaster. They will actively make your fatty liver worse by flooding it with even more of that liver-damaging fructose. And most of those expensive supplements, like turmeric, they're pretty much useless for this because your body barely absorbs them. The key isn't to add something, it's to take away something. So here it is.
The fix is incredibly simple, just 2 steps. First, you have to stop the attack on your liver. That means cutting way, way back on the high-carb stuff, all the added sugars, and especially those fruit juices. Step 2, you replace those foods with things that actually make you feel full. Foods packed with protein and healthy fats like meat, eggs, and yes, even butter. These foods keep you satisfied, so you stop craving the junk that caused all the trouble.
And this quote from Dr. Berry just nails it. It sounds completely radical, I know, but the logic is perfect. It's not that bacon and butter are some kind of magic cure. It's that when you're eating bacon and eggs for breakfast, you are not eating the honey bun or the sugary cereal. You're removing the poison, and that's what gives your liver the breathing room it needs to finally start healing itself. So it all really boils down to this one final question you have to ask yourself. When you look at what's on your plate, day in and day out, is your diet a source of healing for your body's most amazing organ? Or is it silently contributing to a problem you can't even feel yet?